Welcome to Return on Insights, the show where candid conversations with bold founders and leaders spark actionable insights for your business. I'm David Lindover.
And I'm Erin Abatangelo. Each week, we pull back the curtain with leaders who are scaling teams and shaping the future, sharing the insights that create impact far beyond the bottom line.
Discover how high-performing companies build enduring cultures, inspire teams to think bigger, and turn vision into action. If you see storytelling as your strategic advantage, you're in the right place. Welcome to a special edition of Return on Insights podcast, where we explore the rapidly evolving intersection of technology, trust, and customer experience in the automotive and insurance sectors. I'm David Lindover, your host, and today we're highlighting how AI is not only accelerating car inspections, but also transforming what transparency and efficiency mean for insurers, rental fleet operators, and everyday drivers. Our guest is Eliron Ekstein, founder and CEO of Raven AI. Eliron's distinguished career spans both global corporations and agile startups. He previously led digital innovation and new business dev at Shell and refined his strategic acumen at the Boston Consulting Group. As co-founder of Raven AI, Eliron has raised over $35 million in funding and built a company recognized for its cutting-edge AI-powered vehicle inspection technology. He is also a contributing member of the Forbes Technology Council and an advisor to tech innovators in the mobility and insurance ecosystem, making him exceptionally qualified to offer forward-thinking perspectives on digital transformation in traditional industries. Let's get started, Eliron. Welcome to the show.
Thank you for having me.
So what were the main challenges you saw in traditional car rental and insurance processes that inspired Raven AI?
So any of us that rented a car or filed an insurance claim knows that there are definitely some efficiencies to be gained in that space. So I personally rented a car multiple times where damage was captured that I wasn't responsible for, and that gets you into this back and forth with a car rental company. It's not a pleasant experience for you, and definitely doesn't translate to a good score in consumer experience with those companies. Equally with insurers, we've seen rising costs in insurance claims. And that's not just a result of the repairs themselves becoming more expensive, it's just a result of inefficient processes. So we've seen that any time that there is something to do with a vehicle, some damage, it requires very specific expertise. And that's very that's problematic from a transparency point of view to the consumer, to the end customer. It's just not clear what needs to be fixed, how much it's supposed to cost, and how long it's going to take. And that's a fundamental problem we're dealing with.
Definitely. Experienced that myself. So how does Raven's technology fundamentally change the claim experience for both the insurance providers and people like us, the everyday drivers?
Right. So the best way to probably imagine that is that you have a really good friend who happens to be a very good expert in assessing damage. So that friend is never tired. They're always nice to you. You can call them up in the middle of the night when you accidentally bumped into something or someone, and they will tell you, hey, that bumper that you just rubbed into the side of a pole is going to probably be a $500 job. So don't even bother talking to your insurance company. Equally, if you're an insurance company, you want to actually offer that to your customers, because guess what? If you don't know about this damage in future, it's going to become of a future claim. So everybody in the ecosystem would like to have that buddy at the tip of their fingers. And fortunately, we spent the last 8 years or so just perfecting it so that actually it makes some sense.
That's very cool. What have been the most critical barriers to AI adoption in legacy industries like insurance, and how have you worked to overcome them?
So insurance companies are not known for being risk takers. In fact, that's their business. And so AI and our technology in particular is always seen as something risky. What if I tell my customer it's X amount of dollars, but it turns out to be different? Am I opening myself up to litigation? So a lot of our work has been to prove the tech actually delivers, but also find those workflows where they're less exposed. I'm not going to go into specifics because that's giving away all the commercial research, but yes, just having those points in their workflow where we can make a difference without exposing them to too much risk.
Maybe on the next podcast, we can get you to reveal that. That'd be very interesting. Can you share concrete examples of where Raven AI provided unexpected value to your clients or their customers?
Unexpected. Well, look, we've always rolled out the solution as an efficiency tool. So say that you're an insurance company, you want to know if the vehicle is repairable or total loss. That's the first decision you have to make.
Right.
We're always about efficiency. But what we found out later on is that further down the value chain, this has additional benefits. For example, if I'm totaling the vehicle, how much can I sell it for? So Raven doesn't only tell you if it's total loss or repairable, it can actually value the parts and value the vehicle so that you can maximize your proceeds. We can create a condition report, for example, for an auction, because all these vehicles will turn out in an auction, and have a digital condition report. So just pushing the boundaries of the cycle time, getting the money back to the insurance company, to the consumer, just as a result of that transparency upfront.
So with the rise of digital-first competitors, how should traditional industry players adapt or risk falling behind?
Yeah, it's an amazing question. And I think people should be starting to take a serious look at their, it used to be called digital strategy. We've done that at BCG and at Shell, where we built whole new departments that are not bound by some of the legacy thinking and systems. And that's probably what's keeping a lot of those companies behind. They've got a legacy system. It's linked with all the compliance and all the different business rules that they've got, and it's very difficult to extract something different. So what we've seen happening is, for example, we have a client that launched a completely new digital brand. So that's the largest insurance company in Australia, IAG. They just launched a separate brand called Rollin. It's a whole new company based on a digital platform. That is one strategy to do it. Of course, not easy to execute, but probably with a new brand, you're also managing your exposure better, and you can attract fresh talent to work in it. It's a new digital company, and that's how you can compete more effectively, I think.
And they're likely targeting a different audience, right?
Correct.
So how does automated vehicle assessment technology impact fraud reduction and trust across the automotive supply chain?
Yeah, and I think this is actually a side benefit that I should have mentioned before when you asked me about it. Fraud is a thing; it's happening, and it's happening more than we think. And it's often not like hard fraud, like claiming for something that isn't there, but just like soft around the edges, adding things to a claim, maybe inflating some repair cost. And the way we deal with that is on multiple levels, at least two levels. One is on the image intake side. So our tool actually scans the car. So you're just picking up your phone after you have an accident, and we're taking all the images for you. We're looking at the car just like your buddy would if you sent them the photos, but we're just actually being there with you. So taking the photos for you, making sure you're capturing all the right angles, making sure you're capturing the correct vehicle, you're not just uploading some other photos. So that is all authenticated, obviously matched with some metadata in the background. Very, very difficult, almost impossible to cheat when you're actually using the scan. You're not sending random images. The second bit is, of course, the layer of AI that scrutinizes the repairs. So we have an intelligence that says, look, this is what the repair should be. This is what the cost should be. So there as well, very hard for somebody else to then argue, hey, it's a much bigger repair. So I think we're solving on both cases.
Does that cause some friction with some of the, we'll call them players, in those transactions?
Theoretically, you would think it does, but in practice, not so much. And the reason for that is that if you're implementing a faster workflow for them, they would give away more than we think that kind of back and forth game because they're not spending as much time and effort on getting those jobs approved. So if you pre-approve, let's say, a certain threshold of work, they'll just be happy to do it. And they have their ways of recouping some profit. That's how they run their business in some other ways, but not through that type of transaction. So it's actually a lot smoother than we think.
That's great to hear. So what upcoming milestones or innovations in vehicle or claims automation are you personally most excited about?
Look, I mean, the biggest pain that we are seeing in the last couple of years is the vehicles are becoming very sophisticated. They have all these components, the autonomous sensors, all those features that are put onto the vehicle, electronics and computers and whatnot, that make repairs very cumbersome. And so getting the AI into more and more depth of predicting and analyzing damage to those components basically pushes the industry forward. It's something that wasn't there because vehicles were a lot simpler to repair. So we need to move fast and address all those changes in the auto industry. And I think we're well placed to do that. I'm excited about that, and I'm excited about further penetrating into the insurance space and optimizing those processes. There's a lot of work to be done. Even a company like ours hasn't, I think, cracked the biggest volume, especially in North America. There's still a lot of market to go for.
Does that mean that when you're looking at the cars of the future or the cars of today, with the amount of computerization, which is growing exponentially, does that mean you're involving yourself with the manufacturers themselves?
To some extent, yes. We have our ways and channels of collaborating. We have those relationships, and we have critically better understanding of certain models that are coming onto the market. So yes, that exists. I think in the past we've also tried to work with our inspections in areas like production line and things like that. But I think definitely there is some partnership going forward with especially those kind of new manufacturers that are pioneering new technologies in autonomous driving. And that needs to trickle into the repair industry and by extension to our solution.
Great. So looking back on your journey, how do you define success in building tech that improves people's lives?
Well, that's the simplest question I think you're asking me today. The simplest answer I can give is just how many people are using it. So if we've done to date, we've actually done hundreds of millions of inspections. I want to sit here in a couple of years and tell you we've done billions and billions of those. I want to reach every American household that needs us, whether it's in the rental experience that they're going on holiday, or they're on a business trip and they need to protect themselves, or they're filing a claim against their auto policy. We want to be there in each of those transactions and make life easier.
Beyond that, those ambitious goals, what's next for Eliron?
Just keep doing this. I'm enjoying myself, and some surf, as you can see.
Good man. Good man. Well, listen, thanks so much. Some good insights you've shared, and we wish you the best for great success in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you, David.